It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Wednesday, June 19th. I'm Wendy Corr, bringing you headlines from the Cowboy State Daily newsroom, presented by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Starting July 19th, from sunup to sundown, there's something for everyone. Check it out at cfdrodeo.com. An end may be in sight for Jackson workers who live in Idaho and have had to add hours of extra travel a day to get around a catastrophic failure of Highway 22 that's kept Teton Pass closed for a week and a half. Bob Hammond with the Wyoming Department of Transportation told Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson that officials hope to have a temporary rerouting of the road paved by the middle of next week and the road open to traffic soon after.
The road is expected to be paved possibly as early as this weekend, and then by middle of next week, people could be traveling on that road. They're creating a kind of a detour on the road. It's not going to be the permanent fix, but it is a temporary fix.
Since the road collapse on June 8th, people have had to detour through Swan Valley to Alpine and then up the Snake River Canyon, a distance of 85 total miles, to cover the 24 miles between Jackson and Victor, Idaho, over the pass. Yellowstone National Park's next major road project will include blasting nearly 100,000 tons of rock that remains from a prehistoric volcanic explosion, and the feds are giving the park $22 million to do it. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports that starting in fall 2025, the Federal Highways Administration money will be used to significantly transform Golden Gate Canyon in northwest Yellowstone to make the corridor to Mammoth Hot Springs more scenic, safe, and accessible.
Yellowstone Superintendent Cam Shawley said that it's a lot of money for a short stretch of road, but these improvements are overdue. So they're going to remove rock from the three noses, as they call them, these three outcrops of rock that stretch out over the highway. So it's not going to remove the character of the canyon, but it is going to make it safer and mitigate rock falls. There's also going to be 2 new parking areas, a new pit toilet, and a pedestrian pathway to provide a better view of Rustic Falls.
Golden Gate improvements are part of 9 projects totaling more than $370 million in Infrastructure Act money to replace bridges and roads in Yellowstone, including the ongoing replacement of the Yellowstone Bridge, expected to be completed in 2026. It was 2019 when the Gittleson family members saw the first wolf on the ranch property they lease in northern Colorado, roughly 12 miles from the Wyoming state line. Well, at first it seemed like no big deal. Since then, the ranch has lost 11 cattle to wolves. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines reports that the Gittleson place seems to be right in the middle of where wolves are traversing back and forth from both Colorado and Wyoming.
I spoke with the ranchers directly, and they said it wasn't really a big deal when the adult wolves showed up. They pretty much kept to themselves, but then they had pups. They had a litter of pups, and they had to teach them how to hunt. And of course, what's available and easy to hunt right there? Well, cattle. So they started losing cattle to those wolves.
Kim Gittleson said her family has dealt with other predators, such as bears and mountain lions, for decades. But wolves are turning out to be something different. And so far, non-lethal deterrents have produced mixed results. I'll be back in just 15 seconds with more news.
In southwest Wyoming, wide open space is waiting. This is how we explore it. In Rock Springs and Green River, Wyoming. Plan your adventure at explorewy.com.
U.S. Representative Harriet Hageman, who's trooping through the coal-rich Powder River Basin this week visiting mining operations, said she plans to invite former President Donald Trump to the Cowboy State. Hageman told Cowboy State Daily's Pat Mayo on Tuesday that the 45th president recognizes the importance of Wyoming's energy industry.
Sure feels that he's the only one that kind of gets what's going on in the energy world, and that current president, Joe Biden, is kind of failing that because he's proposed to basically kill off the coal industry by 2041 on public lands here in the Powder River Basin. So, yeah, that's a concern.
Hageman said that while he was in office, the former commander-in-chief helped America achieve energy independence for the first time in more than 60 years. And accused of damaging a building and burning a camper while talking to demons, an Upton man could face up to 10 years in prison. The case against 30-year-old Jeremy Lee Hamelman-Hames began at 3 in the morning on May 30th when a Weston County deputy was sent to investigate a reported vehicle crash involving a shirtless male walking eastbound along the railroad tracks in Upton. Crime and Courts reporter Claire McFarland has the story.
The deputy wrote in the affidavit on that case that Hamelman-Hames was captured on surveillance, allegedly destroying the building. And then there's a fire kind of going up in the background when he's not in the frame. The deputy somewhat randomly puts in there, I can see him walking around talking to the demons. And at this point, he's got his shirt unbuttoned. He's talking to either the demons or himself.
The felony property destruction case against Hamilman Hames rose to the felony level Weston County District Court earlier this month. He was arraigned on Tuesday. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the daily newsletter button on cowboystatedaily.com. And you can watch this newscast every day by clicking subscribe on our YouTube channel. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.